Well, hello, everybody. I am going to give a few more minutes because we've jumped in nice and early. I hope everyone is doing amazing. I know we've got quite a few people who are registered and they're looking forward to the recording. So just give a couple more minutes, see if anyone's going to be joining us live. But I'm really excited to be talking to you today, literally for you all to stop being the best kept secret. Because let's face it, there is everybody else and then there's you, and we're actually going to make sure after this session today that you are no longer the best kept secret. And I'm really excited to be sharing all of this information with you as well. So if you're watching the replay, drop in replay, make sure that you let us know where you're coming in from as well, because even though, yes, I'm based in Australia, this is available for absolutely anybody, no matter where you are in the world, whatever industry that you're in. This is what you need. So right now, somebody out there needs exactly what you do. And they absolutely have no idea that you exist. So I want to know, are you the best kept secret in the industry? So if you're watching the replay, hit yes or no. Let me know, because I guarantee most of you are pretty much sitting there going, yes, that is me. Because basically, let's just face it, what we have right now is that talented, amazing people just like you are invisible online. And there's less qualified people are actually thriving. So I'm going to give you the exact mindset shifts, strategy that's going to change that. There's no fluff. This is all real. This is everything that you could literally start introducing right into your business as of today. So I am such a big believer on valuing people's time. I love keeping things short and sweet. It must be my ADHD brain that goes crazy, but I really just want to share some things with you. So first of all, why do you need to share your story? Okay, so one of the big things is that people actually don't buy products and services, they buy from people. And your story is the point of difference. So if you've ever been sitting out there wondering, why does that make a difference? Because people buy from people. We are emotional human beings and we want to connect on a personal, deep level. So your story of why you started your business, your story of what is your purpose, what is your mission, what are your values, what you stand for, that is also relevant. And if this is one thing that you can take away from today, this is what you need to start being sharing. And I'm living proof of it. I shared my story of when I went from being broken, living toxic, unfixable marriage, filing for bankruptcy, ended up sleeping on my parents' couch, losing everything. And I started sharing that personal story. And now, 7 years later, that has been grown into a global media ecosystem. So honestly, I'm living proof of what is absolutely possible when you start sharing your story. Now, your expertise is everywhere, okay? Your story is only yours. And that's the unfair advantage, because nobody is you. Nobody has had that lived experience. Nobody has the passion, the purpose, like from it. I am super passionate about stories because A, I know why it works. I understand the fact that not only is it the best marketing tool that you'll ever have, but also too is that, once I've gone through and I've done the healing processes and I've gone through the transformation, I was literally my very first client. So I've been able to now share that transformation, that journey with people. And you take people on that incredible ride, and people get it and people want to be part of it as well. Now, the other thing is that the world is so much more noisier than what it ever was before. There is so much generic content out there that gets scrolled past. Like, yes, I use AI. I use AI images. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. But I guarantee you the posts that stand out the most is ones when I'm not wearing makeup. Second of all, is when I'm sharing things that even about my family life, my personal life, especially about my dog. They're the posts that people stop scrolling. And when I get really super real and vulnerable and I start sharing from that, people reach out to me. The amount of DMs that I get, because people are going, Christine, are you in my head? How do you know that that was me? And this is what people want. facts tell, but stories sell. And I'm such a big believer in that. Now, leading on to that is vulnerability. It builds trust faster. All right. We all have a process, and it's the like, no trust factor. So people need to like you, they need to get to know you, and then the trust, then people will actually go ahead and work from you. And when you get super raw and vulnerable and you take people inside your world, that process speeds up, and people are like, oh my God, she gets me. Or, they understand me. I want to work with her. And honestly, this is the gold mine that you are sitting on right now. So if you don't tell your story, nobody else fills that gap. And usually a competitor who is less qualified, but they're generally louder. All right. And we want you to be loud, proud, and we want you to get your story out there as well. So if you're watching the replay, just make sure you drop replay in the chat. Let me know if this is really resonating with you. And I really want to make this super short, punchy for you so you can get lots of key takeaways as well. So basically, for me, your foundation story, the why behind everything you do, it's the most magnetic thing about you. I remember like 2015, I was diagnosed with 2 life-changing illnesses. I was no longer able to work in my corporate career. I ended up having to file for bankruptcy. There was no money coming in. And then I ended up sleeping on my parents' couch. All right. That had turned into this bubbling why that I really understand the power of stories. And I'm going to talk about that even more, about how you can use that story. But one of the things that I realized is the fact is that when we come from a healed, empowered place, that is actually where the magnet really starts to attract your ideal clients. And these people are sitting there waiting to hear from you. Okay, so your why behind everything you do is so important. I'll give you another scenario with that is why I started the I.N.S.P.I.R.E Awards. I saw so many people, there was so many things, people saying, Christine, you need to apply for this award, this award, this award. I'm like going, oh, well, I don't feel like I'm qualified enough. I don't feel like I am making the revenue. I didn't have that many followers. And keep asking me the question. It's like, who inspires you? And I lifted up all these people. I'm like going, they're the people that I want to recognize. And I then started the I.N.S.P.I.R.E Awards about asking the question of who inspires you. We are these amazing, beautiful, what I call change makers. And these change makers, these are the people that are making the ripple effects. So if you picture yourself like you are the pebble, all right, and you drop yourself into a pond, you're creating that beautiful ripple effect. Okay. These are change makers. These are the people that I want to celebrate. All right. So when I share that why, when I share that, whole journey on it, and the other part that I wanted to say is like, we need to get back to basics. We need to start celebrate change makers who are human beings. So I've removed gender. Like there is no women in business. There's no men in business. Like we're not celebrating that. We are celebrating change makers. We're celebrating human beings that are making an impact. All right. An impact that's on your story. That's how you're creating that ripple effect within your community. All right. Whether it's your community online, it's your community, like your next door neighbor, they're the amazing human beings that, we need to start celebrating as well. So, share that foundation story. All right. I want you to really get them to feel it and not just hear it. So doing live is going to be one of the key things that you need to do. People need to feel the energy, feel your emotions. And one of the things I learned in corporate is like there's no tone like in emails. It's the same as social media. Like sometimes you can't really express how passionate you are. You can't express how excited, how frustrated, like annoyed, upset, all those different types of feelings that you are. So when you do a live, you can invoke that. And, I always say I probably should have been like, I probably was an Italian in my past life. I talk a lot with my hands. I'm very expressive. But you want people to feel that emotion, with it. So part of this strategy that we're going to go through is not just about posting. Okay. It's not just about social media and doing your standard text post. This is about doing videos and also then sharing how you can actually different ways and different avenues that you can share your story as well. So basically, your journey, it really, really matters, okay? It's the struggle, it's the pivots, it's the moments of doubt that people connect in, all right? There were so many times when I first started my business, I was like, oh my God, there's no way I can do that. So when I first started, the Corporate Escapists, it was just an interview series, and then I got this in a meditation, I saw magazine covers. I literally peed myself laughing because I was like, there's no way that I could do a magazine. I have no marketing background. I have no publishing background. There's no reason being. 6 months later, I published my very first magazine, the Corporate Escapists magazine, and it was amazing. I had people lining up to share their stories. And this is where I knew that this was something that needed to, continue on. And now we've rebranded into the I.N.S.P.I.R.E magazine. We've got a readership of just over 10 million people worldwide with our incredible partnerships that we have. And the other thing is that, we've been able to turn this into a media ecosystem. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But basically, I want you to, share with them like those struggles, those pivots, those moments where the doubt come in. Like I have those 3 a.m. like, oh, wake up in fear, all those different things. But when you are continually focusing on your why, that's when the magic actually happens, and people want to actually be connected to that as well. So one thing that really stopped me is I had 2 best friends sitting on my shoulder. I called them fear, shame and guilt. Shame and guilt lived with me for such a long period of time. So I want you to know is that your history is not actually your baggage. It's actually your credibility. And when you come and you explain it as to, what happened in your life, and you don't have to go into a lot of details. I skim the surface of a few things that have happened in my life, but it also shows why I'm so passionate about it. But also too, it's the credibility. It's the lived experience. And for me, I want to work with coaches. I want to work with coaches that have already built the 6, 7 figure businesses. I want to work with them because they've got the credibility. They've gone in and done it. I don't want to work with somebody who's just come out of uni. Yes, the degrees are amazing. But I want to work with somebody who's got that lived experience, and that all then comes back to your foundation story. It comes back to your why, your purpose, your values, all those different things. So you can see the compounding effect that starts to have. So the dots need to connect your audience to help them see how your path led to your purpose. So, I worked in corporate. I had a 20-something plus year, working in multiple fields, mainly in like management, project management, training, all those different things. But, what does that actually lead me is that, first of all, is that yes, it was leading other people. But one of the things that I've learned the hardest is that self-leadership is the most important thing. And when we can learn how to truly self-lead, that is when we can actually truly lead our business as well. So your story is self-led. You need to own the story, own the identity, move that forward. And when you connect all of those dots, and I take people on that journey, they're like going, wow, now I completely get it. All right. So don't allow the shame and guilt to come into it. Allow that to come through. All right. And connect those dots. So as I said, people remember stories. They don't remember facts. All right. One authentic story will outlast 1,000 statistics. All right. And I just want to give you a permission slip. One of the biggest things for me was, who am I? I kept saying, who am I to do this? Who am I, to create this? Who am I? But basically, I needed to give myself permission. So I want you to know that you're allowed to own your story, and you're allowed to take up space. And one of the big things is being a plus size person is like, I used to think, oh, there's no way I should be able to take up space. I don't deserve that, and, that has played a part into it. So I just want you to know that you completely have permission to share your story and to take up as much space as you possibly can. So I talked a little bit about, the story factor, and I know I'm moving quite fast because I just want to give you so much value and really appreciate how busy we all are as well. So I developed what was called the pen theory. All right. So with the pen theory, I just want you to think about this when you're starting to talk about your stories. So this is your past, the end. All right. We can't go back and erase it. All right. But I want you to be reminded that has shaped every single gift that you carry today. All right. Your past is a gold mine. All right. Now, what then happens is that sometimes we skip forward. All right. We want to go forward and have all the magic and all the beautiful things happen. All right. I'm really big in manifestation. I love it. I journal, like all those sorts of things. But one thing that we need to remember is to come back into the present moment. Okay. This is where you live. All right. This is what we're grateful for. But this is also the gateway of what's actually going to happen next for you. All right. So basically here is that most people are either stuck in the past, all right, or they're too anxious thinking about the future. And sometimes what we need to do is when we're talking about in our marketing is that we need to bring people back into the present moment, like what is happening right now. All right. It might be too much for them to go backwards, maybe too much for them to think forwards. Let's bring them back into the present moment. All right. And one of the things that I really think about when you're thinking about like manifestation and all that sort of woo-woo stuff is that if you want to attract something into the future, you need to be grateful for what you currently have. Now, the tip represents your future self. All right. So this is also your future clients. All right. This is also the transformation that you're going to be able to bring them. Okay. So just remember here is that can't go back and change the past. So we want people to own that. We want them to be present in the moment. And then we can actually lead them into the future as well. Okay. So I always, when I'm sitting down, I'm so old school. I love writing things down, ticking things off, like all those amazing things. All right. But I want you to just remember that when you're talking about your story. All right. We don't want to live too much into the past, but we want to use that past as our gold mine because that is golden nuggets that we can start sharing because generally speaking, you are going to be your very first transformation, your very first client. All right. So one of the things that is stopping people is the actual story that you're telling. All right. Is that actually helping you grow your business? So I talked about when I first started my business, it was being broke and leaving a toxic, unfixable marriage. Okay. Filing for bankruptcy, sleeping on my parents' couch. Like I was a complete mess. And that's literally how the Corporate Escapists started, is because, it was that I was escaping corporate. I was forced to escape corporate. All right. Now, when I kept building the business, and it was probably around about 12 months ago, I really realized that story is actually not going to help me grow my business. All right. It's not going to take me to where I'm going. And thinking about, my mission has changed in my business, the goal of where I want to take it. I want to create this, global, media ecosystem and help people with their stories. So now it's the media and visibility ecosystem. All right. So it is for coaches, entrepreneurs who are building authority, influence, and legacy. All right. That's the story that I share now, because that goes towards my goal. All right. So that's this part. All right. But I had to be in this present moment to really think about where I was starting to share that story from. All right. So just remember, we have stories running in the background, and sometimes it might be written by other people. It's our parents, our boss, a client that didn't value you, all those different things. But what we need to actually do is make sure is it's a story that's actually going to help you grow. Think about the story, the transformations. Think about the empowered statements that you can share that is going to attract your ideal client. A shrinking story produces shrinking results. The growth story produces growth. It's not about the woo-woo. It's about how identity actually works. And you need to be in that identity of the person building that amazing brand moving forward. All right. So here are some signs that your story is keeping you stuck. All right. And then you might be downplaying your achievements. All right. So if you lead with an apology, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Or you start with only or a little bit. I want you to sit here today and I want you to write down all of your friggin' achievements. I want you to be bold. I want you to share it. I want you to tag me in it so I can celebrate you. Because sometimes what we don't realize is that when we are shrinking ourselves, it is stopping then us sharing the story that is truly going to help our business grow. Okay. Now, one of the key things is, and the best part is now you get to change it. Now you get to change your marketing. Now you get to change what story you're going to start sharing. You're going to step into that beautiful identity of the story of who it was that got you to where you are right now. And it's also the story that's going to take you forward into your business. All right. So I want to know, anyone felt like that? Okay, let me know, because remember, you've lived it. I want you to start to share it. Okay. And I really am such a true believer that your stories are the most gold mine in it. Now, you don't have to go in and share everything. Like I touch the surface on some of my stories because I'm very respectful of there's other people that are involved in it as well. So I just want you to know, okay? I want you to know that there is a way that you can share it. And when you own the story, the good, the bad, and all the messy little bits and pieces inside of it, all right, that is when you get to share it from that empowered place. So think about the journey. All right. One of my amazing spiritual coach, she goes, they never share your story when you're in the thick of things. All right. Share it from the transformation. All right. And that really stuck with me. So now, like, if you go through something, I'm not sharing to say, I used to share, like, oh, I'm in hospital again, like all this stuff. I will share going, you know what? I didn't listen to my body. I wasn't listening to the burnout symptoms. I, wasn't doing it. So here is your reminder today. So you can see how much more powerful it is because you've gone through it and you've done the healing. All right. You've gone through the transformation. That is more powerful than going, oh, hey, I'm in hospital again. Like people are going, oh, I feel sorry for you. But there's no transformation. All right. You're not showing people how you got through it. So people want to see the transformation. People want to buy from empowered people. Okay. So share the empowerment, share the transformation, share after the fact with it. All right. So I'm going to share now why social media, just posting on that is not enough. Okay. Social media is rented land. The algorithm controls who sees you, and your reach is shrinking every single year. All right. Facebook changes their algorithms all the time. So does Instagram, like every single platform does. All right. So just remember it is rented space. All right. So basically, yes, I do suggest you post consistently because that does help with your algorithm. But I think that a lot of people get focused on how many followers that you've got, how many views, all that sort of stuff. So what we want to focus on, the goal is not just followers. Okay. The goal is not just all the views. It is exposure to the right people at the right moment when they're ready to buy. All right. When they're connected to you and you've got the service, they've got the problem, and it's like a perfect match. That's what we want to get to. All right. So this is about building your personal brand, not just a business brand. Because as I said, people buy from people, not just from brands. And I think COVID was one of the biggest highlighters from that because small business exploded in that time. All right. So people search for people, they're not searching for logos. All right. People search for people, they don't search for logos. So when somebody goes into Google and they're like going, who's the best coach? Who's the best consultant? Who's the best expert in this field? You need to show up. And this is why your personal brand is really, really important. Yes, you'll have your business, but you need to get out from behind there and you need to start showing up on your personal brand. And that's really what we're talking about is how can you get noticed? How is your story? How is your why, your purpose, your passion, your values? Why is that so important? All right, because you could potentially have an exit plan for your business, but you could still get paid as a speaker because you've built this incredible, incredible brand, all right, that you've gone and sold. All right. So we want your name to be on the internet and your story needs to live somewhere permanently, not just in a post. All right. That is, stories are going to disappear within 24 hours, but your post, if you think about how many people are on Facebook and you're trying to fight, all right, for that attention, we need to get it somewhere else. Okay. We need to get you to show out. So I encourage you to go and search for your name. Okay. And do it. That's your homework. All right. I want you to Google your name and see what comes up. See what platforms you're getting shown up in. All right. I'm so fortunate. Like I've been doing this. You type in my name and I come up as number one. All right. And I'm showing up on YouTube. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. Like I'm on my own website. Like this is the thing, my friend. All right. Is that you need to go and find out where you're getting, like where you are in the Google search. But then also we're going to show you basically why this whole Inspire media ecosystem that I've created actually works. All right. So hold on. So basically the ecosystem that we've created, all right? So it's magazine, it's podcast, it's high impact events, all right? And all of those then are backlinked. They're backlinked to your website, they're backlinked to your social pages, So that then keeps this little like trickle feed happening in through to Google. All right. And that's how you become searchable. All right. It's not just advertising. This is a complete visibility system that builds your personal brand on Google socials, and you are then front of mind for people. All right. So we created a beautiful magazine feature. So your story is told in long form content. All right. It's the content, it's the depth, it's the authority piece. All right. We have it, small print runs. I absolutely freaking love it. Like, this is our small print run. I do have a blurred background at the moment, but this gives you an idea of it. But mainly most people want digital now. And we've got an incredible partnership, all right, with a distribution company. So when you check into the high profile airlines and hotels, like all of that, then you get to download our magazine for free. All right. Now the backlinks, all right, are from an established publication, so for us, and then it goes to your name. You get instant credibility as you're featured inside the I.N.S.P.I.R.E magazine. All right. Now, the other thing is that what I learned in corporate is that we all consume information differently. All right. So this is one of the other things, is that, people don't just want to read all the time. Okay. We are busy sometimes human beings. So sitting there and taking time to flip through a magazine, we may not have it. So that's why we've also added onto the podcast. Now, our podcast is available in two different types of formats. It's audio, all right, so people can listen into the car. They could be on public transport, but we've also put it onto YouTube, so people want to watch you. So your energy that can come out of a video is incredible. All right. All again, we backlink everything into it. It is evergreen that people then can find you on the podcast, find you on YouTube. YouTube is getting to be one of the biggest search engines as well. All right. So this is amazing. Then we repurpose that into reels, into quotes, and into blogs. And that means you have got content instantly, my friend. Now, the third backlink that we then go ahead and we create is a blog article. All right. And so this is where Google really starts to pay attention. All right. So we're obviously having your name included into the article. We are having your website, your social links all included in it. So basically, when you put your name in, Google's going to start picking that up. And long form SEO, that actually works for you 24/7 without any ad spend. All right. So just remember, these backlinks are absolute gold. And this is what I've gone through over the last 7 years in creative, which is this I.N.S.P.I.R.E method. All right. Because people need to see you, they need to hear you. All right. And they need to read about you. All right. We all consume information differently. Think about how you like to consume information. All right. For me, I'm a tactile learner. I need someone to sit at the computer, show me how to do something. Great, I can go ahead and do it. I like to read, and I am not a Kindle book person. I have like physical copies of books. Like, I need to touch the pages and go through it as well. So think about how you like to learn, how you like to consume information. Ask your other family members how they like to it. This is why we've created, these 3 different ways, okay, that people can consume your information, and they can do it in a way that is going to best suit them as well. All right. So when someone searches you, you're the best person in the industry, you start showing up. That's not social media. That's the internet working for you permanently. This is evergreen, my friend. And this is the most beautiful thing about it. All right. Is that, yes, our articles are a paid advertising, right? You get the whole complete package. But if you were to go and pay for SEO, all right, through somebody, you're looking around about $1,000 a month, all right, per month, just to get ranked. But these backlinks start working for you. Everything in this ecosystem starts working for you. Then we take it even a step further. All right. So this is the high level version that you don't actually need to create any more content. You need to extract the content then that what you've already created. So you've come into the magazine. All right. You're shared your why. This is the golden part. You can then share more about that on the podcast. All right. Now you basically create, we've got then two forms of long pieces of content, the podcast. All right. And then we've also got your article. And then basically from that, everything then starts to flow. You can then put the interview on YouTube. You can make reels from it. You can do Facebook reels, Instagram reels. You can do quote graphics. You can put that into the newsletter, into your email, and you start then to repurpose that. So I'm going to say one one magazine feature, one podcast interview, and one blog post. That's three backlinks onto Google already. And it's about 3 to 6 months worth of content. All right. That's the system that you create once, and it works every single time, because people are going to see you, they're going to read about you, they're going to hear you. All right. And you're going to be in them on different types of platforms. And all of that, my friend, creates this sort of, vacuum that for people then to come in to actually find you. And this is why the ecosystem really does actually work. Okay. So I want you to remember, all right, remember those yeses that you had at the start. Okay. I want you to remember that you need to remember that your story is the most powerful asset in your business. That's what is stopping you from being seen. That is what's stopping you from being the best kept secret in the industry. We want to stop that. We want people to see you. We want people to know about you. We want people to come and work with you because they've seen you. They've read about you. They've heard you. This works. All right. Now, the three things that we've talked about is that we've also then created one extra layer on that, and we've created the I.N.S.P.I.R.E Awards. And I shared a little bit about why I created the I.N.S.P.I.R.E Awards, but this gives you then the credibility. Apply for the I.N.S.P.I.R.E Awards. Be seen on the night at the awards. Be, as here you've actually applied, share that. Share that you've been nominated. Share that you've actually applied. People are going, oh my God, they've been nominated for an award. They must be amazing. So all these things actually start working. And if you're not going to promote yourself, why would anybody else? You need to be the best promotion of your business. All right. You need to talk about you. You need to talk about your brand. You need to talk about why you started it. And that is going to stop you from being the best kept secret in the industry. This is how people are going to be attracted to you. All right. So I want you to remind yourself, all right, your story, your why, your purpose, your passion. That, my friend, is the golden key. And I've been talking about this for so many years, and still people are going, I don't want to share it. But that's okay. If you don't want to share it, you can still stay hidden. That's perfectly fine. But if you want to be able to tap into that, if you want to be able to work out what is the actual golden story that needs to be shared, then come and work with me. And I'm going to uncover which is the actual story that is going to be right for you to be able to share. Because remember, there's two stories. It's the story that started your business, but then there's the story that's actually going to grow your business. And we want to be sharing this part here is the story that's going to grow your business. That is the one that is going to make you, your business, explode, my friend. And then we put that into our whole ecosystem. And that way, then you're going to be undeniable visible. People are going to read about you in the magazine. People are going to hear you on the podcast. All right. They're going to watch you on YouTube. All right. Then they can get found on Google because it's all backlinked and everyone's going to be able to find you. So I hope that this has given you an insight. I hope that you can see the, why it's so important. Okay. The world does not need more perfect people. It needs more real ones like you. You need to show up, you need to share your story, and you need to be found. All right. So I want you to be reminded today is that I see you, that your story matters, and the world needs to hear it, my friend. So if you're ready to take the next step, if you are ready to stop being the best kept secret in your industry, comment below, or I'll put the emails, all of those details there, and reach out and book in a call. And let's get you visible. Let's get you ready. All right. Let's get you seen, because I see you, my friend, and you are so ready. I hope you enjoyed that. And yeah, I can't wait to hear all about this. And I can't wait for you to be visible. I'll talk to you all soon.